Hey, this is Ace, here with my partner Dees, and this is About That Sports Life, where we talk about sports, life, and style. We got plenty to talk about today, so without any further ado, let's get right to it. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about the World Cup a little bit. That's pretty much the number one sports topic besides the other number one sports topic, but it's been, to me, it's been great so far. I mean, I'm actually sitting and watching full soccer games. I know at least one player on pretty much every team that's relevant.
You only watched 30 minutes of that blowout. You didn't watch.
I know. I actually didn't catch the blowout anyway. I was at work. And I didn't even put it on Watch ESPN. I kept getting updates every time.
All you needed to watch was from about the 9-minute mark to the 29-minute mark.
Every time I refreshed my I had a page up where I think it's Bleacher Report. Shout out to Bleacher Report for Feel Like Daily. Every time I refreshed it, it was basically.
Couldn't put the Watch ESPN on, just turn the sound on.
But every time I refreshed the Bleacher Report, it was basically another goal scored by Germany. So it was like, okay, I knew it was over by like goal 3. Yeah. So I was pretty much like, all right, whatever.
It was like 5-0. That's, you can forget it. Yeah, it's soccer. You're not getting 5.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So there was some really good games. Particularly, I really liked Brazil. Not Brazil, Germany. The game before Germany, I can't remember who they played. When Neymar was actually hurt.
Yeah, when Brazil played.
Costa Rica? Yeah,
Belgium?
Belgium. It was Belgium. So that was a good game. Argentina's been putting on the show. Netherlands. Being a novice to this world soccer game, didn't know Netherlands would be that much of a powerhouse and be that good. So, but again, really good games. I think that the World Cup, and we still got the biggest one of them all, the championship to come. So definitely.
The U.S. kicking themselves, man. I know that goal in regulation. If he would have got that goal that he missed before it went into the extra time,
it's a whole different story.
Right 1-0, it would have got down to the final 8 to the quarterfinals. But it's progress. It looked like it's progress being made. They didn't get any further, but the fashion in which they played, they still a little too defensive. And I'm speaking as a novice. They're not aggressive at all. They don't look to take the action to a team. I don't know. Maybe they don't have the athletes yet. But I think they will begin to get the athletes, and I look for by maybe not the next one, but 8 years from now, a substantial jump where it's like a Final Four type team will be out there with the kids.
What I've seen, and from for analysts that I sometimes stick around listening to analysts at them hear what they that's which is sometimes the best part because you get a lot of insight that you wouldn't normally have, and they say U.S. is more of a physical team, which almost makes sense because our sports, American football, basketball, is more physical. So they're more a physical team, whereas most of these other teams, they use more finesse. Yeah. And we don't really have the finesse, whereas we trying to force our way down the field with speed and physicality, they're making passes, smart passes to get in good spots and get shots, which is what we need to work on more.
Germany's kind of physical too, and I think that's why they're going to beat Argentina. Yeah, I kind of want Messi to get it because the way I understand it, he was like the dominant player for so long.
Yeah, he's definitely the best player in the world.
So it would be nice, a nice story for the best player to get.
Yeah, I would love it, but at the same time, Brazil, from what I'm understanding, and Argentina are really rivals. So I would think that,
But I think a Latin American country, South American country, they're going to root for Argentina. I don't think they're going to root for Germany Sunday. But I'm interested to see who the rooting interest would be. But although Argentina is their rival, arguably their biggest rival, I understand it, I still believe they're going to root for Argentina.
Like you said, going to be interesting.
Before Germany. But I want to watch this before the game, if nothing else, just for the rooting interest. Exactly. I want to watch. The Germans always ahead of everybody on the doping, too. Kobe going out there. No disrespect, Kobe. But you said our sports, American football, man, with free agency and the World Cup and nobody paying attention to baseball, I didn't hear the people about football. Football's right around the corner.
Which is great. No, I was just talking about this with somebody the other day. I think this is one of the best. It's going to be one of the best seasons for NFL football.
Don't camp open up next week?
Yeah, for the simple fact of it's going to sneak up on us. Yeah. It's going to be nothing, World Cup, basketball free agency, everything else is going on right now, and all of a sudden we're gonna be smacking them in the training camp
next week,
and it's gonna hit us like a ton of bricks, and we're gonna love it. We're gonna love every bit of it because I know I'm a big fantasy guy, so I know usually around this time of year I'm chomping at the bit waiting to get some fantasy news, start getting myself together for draft time. I haven't even thought about it.
Yeah,
I haven't thought one bit about football.
It's been a pretty interesting summer as far as sports-wise. The NBA has really done a good job of just marketing themselves.
Definitely,
shout out to LeBron. He's just keeping it going for the NBA. The league should cut him a check. They should take him off the books. Like, no team should have to carry all that weight, man. The league should cut a check, man. He's doing a lot for the league right now. Any news? Check the phones. Is there any news?
I haven't heard
you got
anything
sources?
yet.
A lot of sources. Everybody got sources.
Everybody got a source. Everybody's talking to somebody that knows something about something.
I am excited about football. Like football, football is coming back. Like it's here almost.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good year. I don't know if one of the favorites gonna walk away. It's gonna be so good that I could see Seattle not even making the playoffs in that division. If teams develop, all of those teams.
That's what I'm saying.
All those teams have decent.
But we always know that if there's any American sport where you can go from worst to first, it's the NFL.
Yeah.
And nothing is guaranteed, which is one of the best things about it. And like you said, there's so many teams that have such an opportunity to improve. I was talking to another one of my friends, and we were discussing AFC, NFC, which teams are pretty much a lock, which teams can get better. And as we talk, it's just so many layers just are uncovering. Like, take a team like Detroit. They underachieved last season, but it's not like they didn't lose much. They didn't lose anything, really. And they gained Golden Tate. They drafted a pretty tough tight end. And I'm watching. And the funny thing, I watched. It's a bad game for me. The game, Cowboys Lions game from last season.
Yeah.
When we had it down 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I called that one.
This is one of them Dallas will lose.
And watching it again, I saw Matthew Stafford played a great game. And if we get that Matthew Stafford with the improvements they made, there's no telling what Detroit could do. That's just one team, and that's not mentioning any of the other 10 teams that made great moves in this offseason that could.
About that sports life. I'm taking a show on the road. I'm gonna take a bird's eye view of Detroit. I'm going up for that opening Monday night game against the Giants.
Yeah, I'll
take a look and see what they're working with. This is gonna be a good year to travel. I can get the travel schedule out and
I'll be in Dallas.
Cover some things.
I'll be in Dallas in October for Cowboy Giants.
Yeah, that's a beautiful stadium. Make sure you get the tour, man. Gotta get the tour.
Yeah, got the tour already lined up. Got the tour lined up already.
All right, let's segue into what it's really all about right now. NBA free agency. That is just it. That's the topic of the day. That's the topic of the week. That's the topic of the hour, the minute, the second. Waiting on the dominoes to start falling.
Best way to say it. I mean, it's already been some dominoes. It's almost the fact, usually it's the first domino. It's like some of the last dominoes actually.
Yeah, like by accident. Or something.
Like you got Chandler Parsons. You got.
They're gonna match him now.
You think they're gonna match? Because my thing about it is if they match,
they have to sign. If Bosh goes there, they have to sign. The way it's designed, or they can't go over to sign Bosh. They can go over to get Parsons.
Okay.
So they have to see what's going on with Bosh first. So that's why I know some decisions are coming. Because, LeBron is not going to hamstring Bosh. He's going to start making decisions so people can make decisions. I think Miami is going to come heavy to Bosh if LeBron does go to Cleveland. I think Miami going to come with like 19, 20 mil a year, get a man a nice something. $3 million, that's not really going to make you move. That's not going to move the needle, $3 million a year. That's tax money for them, like at that level. Like, I think he's comfortable in Miami. They'll have more money to sign once you bring him and Wade back in. They can get some quality players, and they'll still be a competitive team with or without LeBron. They just won't be the prohibitive Eastern Conference favorite like they've been the past few years.
I beg to differ. I don't see him going back without LeBron there. I see him going to Houston. They re-signed Parsons. If what you're saying is absolutely correct.
Well, it depends on what he wants. And they have said,
he said
that was the backup deal in case LeBron did leave.
From everything I've heard, he said, I'm going back to Miami if LeBron goes back.
So
which to me,
you mean to tell me he was going to go and take 13, 14 million and leave 22 on the table?
To me,
now that moves the needle for me.
To me, it makes absolutely no sense to me. And I'm just like, at some point, as a grown man. Not even a grown man, grown professional athlete, you gotta be your own man. It can't be determine on what LeBron is doing. If Houston's offering you the max $20 million to be a major part of a competitive Western Conference team, that's what we're talking about, correct? Mm-hmm. This is a playoff team already.
Oh no, they go to they up there.
They right there.
They up there in that OKC.
I'm not gonna say where they're gonna be.
OKC
right
San Antonio class. You add a Bosh and you bring back Chandler Parsons.
Yeah, you're right there with everybody.
Yeah,
why would LeBron move that needle for you? Either way, I mean, we're talking about you're a grown man. You know what you can do on the court, and you know that's a competitive team. They're gonna pay you.
I don't care how good LeBron is. I'm not leaving $32 million on the table to play with anybody.
I mean, we're not talking about the Sixers. We're talking about the Houston Rockets that have 2 All-Stars on the team already. You leaving a team with 2 All-Stars for another team with 2 All-Stars. So what's the difference?
To me, it makes sense, and he goes back to his natural position. So he don't even have to act as if he has to play center.
Exactly.
Like, he'll be playing center very sparingly when Dwight's not on the floor, just for maybe 10 minutes a game. He'll have to deal with that. And the West Coast center thing is like more finesse.
Absolutely.
Anyway, the game is fast.
I don't see any drawback to him signing for Houston.
Hey, nobody's gonna look at Chris Bosh at the end of the day and say, "Man, you only got 2 chips."
But who's to say? But they're not though. But who's to say he doesn't win another one with Houston?
It's a possibility.
Who's to say?
It's a possibility.
Harden's gonna get better.
I think he just really.
Harden's gonna become a better player. Chandler Parsons gonna become a better player.
Better work on his defense.
He's not going to.
None.
He's gonna be trash.
He's like the matador
He's gonna
out
be trash.
there.
He's not. It's not even
but they
about.
Will be able to get 110
It's not
points
athleticism.
a game.
It's just completely.
It's effort. It's no effort.
Showing there. No interest at all in defense.
It's like hurry up and give me the ball.
Exactly.
Again. Let me get some more touches. Yeah, like that, and I'm interested to see. Like, I want the top heavy people. I want to get this Melo, LeBron, Bosh stuff out there. I want to see what like Lance, and I want to see what teams match, and then what trades arise. And
a lot going. There's a lot.
A lot of people.
Really, today is the first day. All this other stuff has just been speculation. Today,
and I don't like that moratorium either. They need to let.
Yeah, I don't. Honestly,
make an offer and sign an offer. Let's go. Like all this.
That.
You got 10 days, like that's too long. Yeah. But you know what? I get it. It's a lot of free marketing in that moratorium.
Exactly.
A lot of free marketing. ESPN setting record numbers. They were saying in July, for everybody following free agency. The NBA is getting all this free airtime without playing a game.
No games being played. Summer games. Yeah. Summer league just started.
Summer league just started. We're gonna talk about summer league too. We got a nice matchup coming Friday at 8. Nice matchup coming. Free agency, we can't leave it that quick. It's too much.
There's so much going on.
There's so much
flesh this out.
And I haven't even gotten, because I wouldn't allow myself early on to get into it. I kind of let it build in like the last 3 days or so. It's like,
let's talk about the big fish. We talk about some of the smaller things that have been going on. Gordon Hayward getting the max offer. I mean, let's not even get into it. Let's not get it. I don't think that we're talking too much for Gordon Hayward. We're talking about, look at
if you talking the Duncan Award, they could have had him locked for 13. They let $1 million a year get in the way. Now they're gonna pay him $4 more million than they wanted.
But my thing is this: when you talking about position and need, we're talking about if the small forward position available right now, we're talking about LeBron. Then it's a huge drop off. We're talking about then we go to Chandler Parsons and Gordon Hayward. What's in between?
After LeBron and Melo.
Well, Melo's not even technically a small forward.
Yeah, they playing him at the power.
Yeah, so I'm like, you're not even talking about Melo at this point.
He's like a 4 or something, baby 4. So
depending where he goes.
Trevor Ariza?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I'm putting Gordon Hayward and Parsons above Ariza because right now, for me, Ariza.
I guess you're looking at younger.
He's 3-and-D, but he's 3-and-D. When you talking about Gordon Hayward and Parsons, they're doing more than that. They're actually, full-fledged, get their own shot.
I think both of them are going to be matched, and you're right. They must have really high value because the way I understand it, and everything I've been listening to, both of their teams are intend to match them.
That's what I'm saying. But if you look at the landscape of the NBA, what else is out there for that position?
And if they're getting that kind of money, Lance Stevenson did the right thing of holding back and not taking that $8.5 million. Because somebody's going to pay him $10, $11 million.
I see him getting up $12 million.
Yeah, somebody's going to pay him. And it may end up being Indiana, or it may not. I don't know what their
somebody's
books
gonna pay him
like,
about $12 million per. And that's what these players set a market. Like a lot of people say, this is the salary cap, and we're gonna have another lockout. We could, but it's not anything new. This is what has been every time the contract runs out, we have a lockout.
Lockout, yeah.
It's not new. Like this is what happens.
I think the next one may be a little more lengthier because when the players are going to opt out of this collective bargaining agreement.
Yeah.
Because the way this whole thing is structured and what's going on with everybody being asked to take under the max. So this next lockout, get comfortable. Get comfortable.
Get used to this summer and these summers where
if
all
I'm a player, I'm getting in my contract. If I got leverage like a LeBron, I get paid during the lockout. I want that in the contract. I want to still get a check.
They got that. 18 months.
I get paid during the lockout because I can.
That's what I'm saying. Just enjoy these summers with all this action because the lockout is coming. We all know it though. That's what I'm saying. You can't. I'm not gonna fault these players and these execs for paying these players and getting these contracts because that's what's allowed within this current system. That's what it's structured for this.
Yo, Isaiah Thomas made some really good points this morning on Mike and Mike talking about that. Because they asked him, he said, I think these guys are handling it wonderfully.
Absolutely.
He was like, and I don't think they should be taking the less because he said when you take under the max, it hurts the lower tier players because where they would get $6-7 million contracts, they're getting $2 million contracts now. He was like, so this decision is a lot harder than people think because it's not only a responsibility to yourself, your team, and your family, but it's to the other players in the league.
Exactly.
And
Chris
to
Bosh
the
takes 13.
Yeah.
What is Greg Monroe going to go get?
Exactly. So he was like,
no.
no, you have to really think about those things. And he said, the narrative is always told from the owner's perspective and never the players. He's like, but most of these owners aren't loyal to players.
And they're not taking no pay cuts.
No, exactly.
They're not taking no pay cuts for nothing. So why is this even a discussion?
And they also asked him about the joining up, players coming together. He said, we always hear you guys wouldn't do that. He was like, we did that. He said, you just didn't have social media and things, and it wasn't always out there with all the cable networks. He was like, but when we wanted better talent, we called our friends. I wanted Mark Aguirre. Got Mark Aguirre. He was like, so we did it. He said, but the collective bargaining today is differently. It's a different era, different time, different money scale. So things are handled differently. He was like, but no, we all did that. We all recruited guys to come on, I need you. Like, but I guess maybe what they're saying, he was like, if I could go play with the Magic, I would have. Like,
yeah, but that wasn't
have that kind of leverage.
It's different times, but I think we are used to what we're used to, and we want to see what we've seen. Yeah. It's not like, I don't think that was the main thing about the Heat, even though that's what got talked about. I think the main thing with the Heat was the way it was done. All the pomp and circumstance, all the pep rallies and all that. Nobody wanted to see that, especially people from the Toronto Raptors, people from the Cleveland Cavaliers. They didn't want to see that because they just lost their star player. And then it was basically rubbed in their face, all them going through the media. That was the difference.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have been handled like that in another area. But anyway.
And I think they've learned because I think everybody's a little more hush-hush now. Like, nobody's really, out there celebrating anything. So, we'll see. It's really going to I think tonight we're going to start hearing some things. I'm figuring about 8 o'clock we're going to start hearing
I think that...
Ron getting on a flight to Brazil in the next couple of days. We're going to hear something soon.
Yeah, something going to be... But, okay, so let's talk about Bron. So, all right, let's look at the writings that's been on the wall. Like we said, we talked about... I think that we're in agreement that it's looking a lot more in favor of Cleveland at this point than Miami.
It's looking Cleveland. Really
and,
Cleveland.
we look... All right, first step was basically, like I said, him saying the max is mandatory. He wanted the max. He basically demanded the max, which really hamstrung the Heat.
Yeah.
And then, looking at that, we know that there's been communication with Cleveland that's been confirmed. We know that Cleveland has since made moves to the effect of clearing cap space so that they would be able to make a max offer. Shout out to Danny Ainge. Like how you got us that 7-footer that we needed in the middle for a rolled up used paper napkin. I like how you did that.
See you in 2032.
Shouts to Danny Ainge. But anyway, but they definitely making moves to clear that space. And it's like, if it's not for LeBron, what's it for? If they don't have some type of assurance.
Yeah, I think when they pulled back on the Hayward max, I think they got a signal from somewhere. Maybe Rich Paul just said during the meeting, like, you might want to hold off on that. You might not want to make that move too soon.
Which, because
the trades are done.
The trades to Boston and Brooklyn, they cleared $21 million.
And from I'm a Celtics fan, so I follow anything that has to do with it, and I've already seen that trade was actually rushed for today.
Today,
Cleveland,
like
requested
we need it done in the next hour.
Done today, so that gives me a clear indication that either they're very confident about the situation, or they're getting some concrete assurance.
I think if LeBron wasn't coming, based on everything that happened last time, he would have let him know. Because once a team starts making those type of moves, the fan base gets excited.
Really turn back.
There's no way you're gonna let that. It would shock me if he does not go to Cleveland.
I think
it would
shock more than you.
It would shock me,
like, shock a lot
because
of
it's like, no, you can't do that.
I think at this point,
like you can't build those folks
I don't
hopes up
think that he would do this because the public perception. If he thought it was bad before,
it would be.
I think it would be worse.
Like
even worse.
Like because he's sticking it to him. Like he's doing it purposely.
Like he twisted the knife at this point.
Like, nah, y'all wanted to burn my jersey. Yeah.
But I think honestly, I think that if and when he does sign with Cleveland, the exact reverse will happen. I think it erases all the bad things and he keeps all the good stuff. He keeps the championships. Yeah. Keeps the MVP.
Yeah, he got that monkey off his back.
But it erases all the bad will. I think that's gone. Not even is it gone. It's even. It goes to the other side, basically. More or less, he'll be that figure for Cleveland as far as sports.
I mean, it's the best time for him to go there because they're only paying Kyrie Irving. They're not playing any of those young players. So even if they don't pan out, they're not invested heavily in them. So they can still go out and get a Mike Miller, a Ray Allen, or whatever other players they want around him.
They can also still
keep the young players or make a trade for Kevin Love. Or
they got a lot of flexibility.
Yeah. And they still have 2 more first-round picks even after trading one to Boston. Next year they still have 2 other first-round picks.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. And it's almost like fortune smiled on him as far as what they've done since he's been gone. Yeah. For him to come back and have so much flexibility to still make moves, they wouldn't have been able to do that if he stayed there.
No.
It took them forever
to
get
been hamstrung. So, and they would have been drafting late, so it would have been hard to ever put a team together. Like they would have had to convince someone to come to Cleveland, and without him having the championship cachet, he couldn't have picked up the phone and called Ray Allen and said, "Hey, you rolling with me?" Like now with the championship cachet, people go to Cleveland at the tail end of their career. Like you hear the Kevin Love, a California guy saying, "Oh, I definitely sign him."
Exactly. Why wouldn't he? The man's not.
Yeah, so it's like, blind. It actually worked out in their benefit him leaving.
Absolutely. At this point now,
and I actually said it when he first said, "He's only 25. He can't go back." They might want to chill. Like, Dan Gilbert and all that. But you know what? I kind of respect them, and people are like, because of the whole racial component or whatever. But being able to put that aside and take care of business, like, not look at the letter. People are too focused on the wrong things. He's like, this is the best opportunity. You can say what you want, but you treating me a certain way. Dan Gilbert gives his people all the leeway in the world. Mm-hmm. So he's running the show. He's basically the GM when he goes there.
You say, all right, it was the letter. One phone call erases
the letter.
If Dan Gilbert personally calls LeBron James and says,
call him, you apologize. Before tip-off game 1, you grab the mic, you publicly apologize, you welcome them back.
It's not only over, it's all good.
We move on.
I was wilding. Come get this $20 million. $20 million fixes a lot of things. Come get this $20 million. Let's go win a championship for Cleveland. Dog, it's not. You can't be mad at that.
Not at all.
If a man owns up to his mistake and then says, "Let's go win this chip for our city," what you gonna do?
You gonna go back and get that done. So free agency.
Melo. Let's talk about Melo. Let's not shy away from the other big fish.
Going to the Knicks. I think it's zero question.
I think it was a bit of a surprise to me that it was such a slam dunk for the Knicks. Man. Phil Jackson really holds a lot of sway. That's all that tells me.
You're talking about $6-7 million more a year, man. That's a lot of scratch to give up. Going to Chicago, you're talking about 15. They talking.
Sign a trade.
Why would the Knicks do that?
It might be a point. I mean,
who you gonna take?
Joe
Kim? They're not going to trade Joe
Kim. You take Boozer's expiring contract. That's
why? You doing them a favor. You got cap space. Melo left. Their first round pick going to be like number 30. What you
no, I see where you go with it.
Now that gives Phil all the room in the world to continue to maneuver.
even with Melo there, he's still a few moves away.
If you Melo, you got a top tier player. Without Melo, you got all the flexibility in the world, New York, and the allure of Phil Jackson. People want to hear what Phil Jackson is talking about. People will go play for Phil Jackson. And I think Melo realizes that. And it's already talked. Marc Gasol is like almost a done deal for next season. And Marc Gasol, who's more perfect as a big, him and Joakim Noah for the triangle. And Gasol is a little more skilled offensively.
Yeah, definitely more
skilled. You put him in the triangle and you got him and a Melo and whomever else. Maybe the draft, Clay Anthony pans out and he becomes a player. He can give you 15,
That's what
16.
This draft.
Yeah. It was the depth. You can get a Clay Anthony early.
They started with no draft picks. They ended up with a Clay Anthony
with first round talent.
And then you got they got a first round pick from last year in Shane Larkin. He's still there.
Yeah.
They didn't trade him. So they made out like bandits.
Then they got Jose Calderon. So now they have a point guard. You still got Shumpert. They may trade him, but which color likes him? Phil likes him.
Yeah, I would too.
I mean,
if I was Phil.
To me, the Knicks look like a playoff team if Melo goes back.
It remains to be seen.
In the East.
Remains to be seen.
In the East.
Remains to be seen.
Atlanta Hawks is not going to playoffs next year ahead of the Knicks. They barely squeeze in this year. No.
Remains to be seen. Cause we got a team like you know what now. You're probably right. I'm running through teams in my head. You're probably right. But remains to be seen. Let's see how this actually passes. Like I said, I'm surprised it was such a slam dunk. I thought LA had a bit of a chance, but I think without
who had Carmelo?
Yeah, I just think that the organization is not as solid.
Man, they hamstrung themselves with that Kobe contract.
They have money.
Paying for past rewards.
They had
but
money.
The salary cap doesn't allow you to go. They could have paired him with two. I think Melo wants more talent. Okay, it's him and Kobe. And what?
Him, Kobe.
Randall not proven yet.
Randall's
it's gonna
there.
take a while. He's in the building.
But once you get Kobe and it's almost a Miami type situation. Once you get Kobe and Carmelo on one team, then you
don't know what Kobe Achilles. That don't really. He thought he was Superman this year. He came back and he limped back off again. We don't know what he's going. I know he went over there and hollered at his people in Germany, but we don't know what that's going to be.
No, which is absolutely true. But which is even more reason Melo goes there. He's the guy, and they build around Melo.
See, how's anybody the guy with Kobe in L.A.?
You're probably right, which is probably why he's going back to New York from all accounts. But like I said, I'm just surprised.
They need to go get an Eric Bledsoe, somebody that's still willing to be a number two, still an up and coming. You put a Bledsoe with a Kobe, that's somebody to build around for the future that can contribute now.
Yeah,
and you do something like that. Maybe even a Lance and a Bledsoe. You get guys that will willingly.
Which makes a lot of sense to me because, especially Bledsoe, you trade Steve Nash. Expiring contract, let him retire as a Phoenix Sun, and then sign a trade for Eric Bledsoe. Bledsoe gets paid, and Bledsoe gets a fresh start where he doesn't have to be.
Bledsoe, Lance, Randall. You bring Powell back if Powell wants to come back. I hear the San Antonio stuff, but we'll see. That's everybody riding on that set. That ship ain't gonna keep sailing that way, man. They was highly motivated to win that championship.
Definitely.
I don't think the same level of motivation will be there next year.
We'll see.
They got that championship back. They felt was stolen from them, and they're not gonna be as motivated.
Yeah.
They're gonna look old next year.
I think we got a lot. They got some teams nipping at them. We talking about OKC. They're due.
I wouldn't be surprised to see San Antonio drop down to that second tier, especially if Bosh goes to Houston. I'm looking at the top four in the West being Clippers, once they get all the distractions out the way. Mm-hmm. Clippers, OKC, Houston, and Golden State. Top four teams out West next year. I can see San Antonio easily being the 5th seed out there next year. I don't think they're going to be as motivated. They're not going. This might be Timmy's last hurrah right here. Just going out, because I don't think they're going to be as pumped to get it done. And they've never won back-to-back.
They have never won back-to-back.
Yeah.
That's true.
And I don't think they're going to be motivated.
We'll see.
He ain't going to take a chance. He ain't going to be dirty again next year. He ain't taking that chance again next year. Man, them guys have some energy from nowhere in that finals, man. I never seen such. I want to see if the NBA tests during the playoffs, man. Because I don't trust what I've seen out there, man. You had Miami. Miami's tongues was dragging on the floor
them boys was running up and down the court like
Motivation,
like they
man.
hadn't played all season.
I don't know, man. It looked like motivation.
Yeah.
And motivated to get that win.
Motivated to go get you some help.
I don't know about that, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying. They didn't look the same the year before. I can tell you that. They were speeding up that floor.
But
they were playing at a different gear than Miami.
Had lost the final in that they should have won the year before that time.
Yeah,
it's a different atmosphere.
Yeah, it was highly motivated. You know, someone who should have been highly motivated. We're gonna transition this thing because we could talk about free agency for 2 years. Your man, Mr. Gordon. What was it?
Just when you think that, you know, it's got to click. It's got to click for this guy at some point. It just doesn't click. Not about that life, man. You're not about that NFL superstar life. Like,
we got to go to the Hall of Fame at this point. I think this is about the third time we done had his name up. We had to retire him.
You know what?
As far as that,
you know what? Your nomination has been second,
yeah,
and we will induct
Josh
Gordon in the Not About That Life Hall of Fame. The jersey going up might be the only place your jersey goes up because the way you're going.
Okay, if you did have some drinks, why are you driving? And then why are you speeding? Why are you even driving?
Why would you even get behind the wheel?
Yeah, this is the second incident you've had since we found out you facing a 1 year suspension. Your boy eats the first one for you, so you get out of that by the skin of your teeth. Your appeal is 3 days later, and you get pulled over for speeding with some beer on your breath. Come on, man. You gonna let millions of dollars get taken away from you for a good time? You can't have a good time without that bread. You're gonna be in the CFL somewhere. You're gonna be in the CFL like Ricky Williams or something.
It's really.
It's not a stint in the CFL.
This is not something to be taken lightly because there's no one bigger than the Shield. The Shield is more important than any one player. And no matter how good he is, Josh Gordon is a number 2 in the league wide receiver talent. Period. Possibly, I'm not gonna say number 1 because I don't think anybody's gonna ever be better than Megatron. But
the reality is,
it doesn't matter how talented he is. Nobody's gonna take the chance.
He had big numbers on a bad team. They will replace you, especially at that position.
Absolutely.
There's tons of receivers out there. Tons. They will replace you. Especially if they can't trust you. They don't know if you're going to be there from week to week, from day to day. They don't have to deal with that. There's plenty of receivers. Who did they bring in? Did they bring in Miles Austin? Who did they bring in? They brought in some people.
They did bring in some people. I don't have any.
Yeah, they brought in a couple people already. They're like, yo, you're not going to replace him.
But no, he definitely, that's what I'm saying. And that position, no matter how good you are, you're not going to shield. You definitely will be replaced. And no one, and I think he still gets another shot, of course.
Of course, yeah, he's too young not to get
But at a certain point,
not this year.
People are not going to take that chance on you.
Yeah. Like the kid from the Redskins, from the football team in Washington, came back from a year-long suspension, got popped again, suspended indefinitely. And safety.
Yeah, and then the other kid from the Jacks, Blackman.
Yeah,
same thing. I mean, these guys. When does it click? I mean, they talked to Honey Badger, Matthew about it. And he basically said it comes to a point where you gotta understand
yourself.
You gotta figure it out.
Like, hey, nobody couldn't tell me anything.
Yeah.
And he figured it out. It seems so far.
But
he in a good situation. He had a player he respected in Patrick Patterson, went to college with him, mentored him there, seems to be mentoring him now. It seems to be working out.
And the talent's there.
Yeah.
Like all these guys.
He's a ball hawk. He makes plays out there.
So, I mean, it gotta click for you. At some point, you gotta understand that this is your livelihood.
And I'm hoping it does for him, especially right now. Cleveland got sports world on lock right now.
They could.
You got Johnny Football out there. You have Bron coming back. If Johnny Football turns into something, you kind of want to be doing things in Cleveland right now, sports-wise. Like you want to be in Cleveland, which is crazy. They flying out of Trenton for $33. Go see me a couple games a month, man. Don't raise them prices up front there, man. I'm telling you now, man. We about to close the show. We got to touch on predict. We talked about Summer League, but we about to talk about Summer League.
Has been. I mean, it's Summer League, but you get the chance to get like almost a sneak preview of a lot of these guys.
Nerlens look like he's been working.
Nerlens looks very good. Looks really good. Probably the highlight of the league so far. I mean, but we're looking at what will probably be the highlight of the Summer League. Wiggins, Parker.
Can't wait.
NBA
Did I sound like Bart
version.
Scott? Can't wait.
Part 1. What you got? Who you got? Let's just go real quick. Who you got?
I see Jabari outscoring him,
Mhm.
but I see Wiggins doing some dunks that just like that'll be the discussion. Like, do you see what this
I see?
boy
Yeah,
can
the same.
bring?
I think just see Jabari put
I
up
see
like 20,
Jabari,
25, something like something
I
gaudy.
see Wiggins about 14, 15.
No, I can see him
some
upwards of 20
skills.
points, like, and then being gaudy with it. And then I can see, like you said, I see Wiggins out there, definitely gonna have the highlight plays above the rim. But I feel like he has the better summer league team as well, with guys like Tristan Thompson, Deion Waiters. I think
They still playing summer league?
I gotta feel
they
it out.
getting traded.
I'm pretty sure I looked at the roster and
Yeah.
Anthony Bennett.
He should be playing summer league. He didn't play all year,
that's what I'm
really.
saying. We got. I think they have the better summer league roster, so I think I would look for them to win the actual game itself. But I think it's gonna be entertaining. That's my prediction. It's definitely gonna be entertaining.
Yeah, I mean that's one of them can't waits. Like I want to be, I'm going DVR just in case
I'm
something
already
happens.
DVRing all the
That
summer league
kept
games
me-
as it
that-
is.
That kept me out the house. I'm going to DVR it. I want to see all that. I want to hear what they're saying. I want to watch it multiple times, and it's a preview of the future of the league. This is the draft we heard about. These are the two players that we heard about consistently, and
Yeah, definitely.
they ended up
must
going
see.
1 and 2 because of Embiid's injury was the best thing. The Sixers are catching some heck of breaks. They really got the top player in the last 2 drafts because of injury. If Nerlens is not injured, he goes 1 last year.
Yeah.
He goes 1. He's in Cleveland right now. He goes 1.
Yeah.
They're trading Tristan Thompson. Nerlens is, but Minnesota probably would want Nerlens before Tristan. Like Tristan, you work hard, but Nerlens just got that raw ability, that unteachable. Spring legs and all that.
Pause the statement. He's like one of the longest people I've ever seen. Pause again. Like I've seen him block shots with his elbows. Like he out there blocking shots with his elbows. Like,
Yeah, he's an athlete.
and then he has the nerve to have a high top fade with it too.
Yeah.
Like he just looks like
He's a heck of an athlete.
Gumby for real.
Yeah, like, I'm just the Sixers gonna be all right in a couple years, man. That 2017
another highlight from the, we're pretty much done. But another highlight from the summer league too. That kid Aaron Gordon.
He's an athlete.
That's a hell of an athlete.
He's an athlete.
I mean, I seen him literally clean a guy's shot up.
Still think that pick was a
and take it with
reach.
him.
But
Yeah,
that's an
I thought
athlete.
they reached him a bit. That was probably my biggest surprise. Him and Stauskas, my 2 biggest surprises in the draft.
Yeah, where did Stouston go? 8?
Yeah, 8 to the Kings.
Kings, yeah.
Which was who already
The
had.
Kings have no idea what they do.
They
They have no
obviously
idea
not.
what they doing.
Obviously not.
There's no idea.
Obviously not. Do they think
Guess they
Stauskas?
gonna
I think they think Stauskas is a point guard. I think they heard somewhere he's a point guard.
They might as well make Kevin Johnson the GM. He does everything else. He's like mayor.
Yeah.
He's working with the Players Association. Just make him GM too, because they don't have a clue. They
Absolutely.
keep drafting the same player. First they was drafting all power forwards. Now they drafting all shooting guards. I'm like, what kind of team are y'all putting together out here?
I have no idea what they're doing. Yeah, I mean, I guess they call themselves stockpiling assets, but
To trade for what?
it waters
and do what?
It waters it down if you stockpile assets at the same position.
Yeah.
They know you can't keep all them
Yeah,
players, so
they
they're not
just
it's
wait.
not- exactly.
Eventually you're gonna have to give them. You're gonna have to fire
Exactly.
sale. Like we gotta clear this stuff.
Yeah, we got to do something. They got to be
have no-
competitive at some point. They got the market.
It's like that GM in Minnesota. That's why they maybe drafted like 3-point guards, Rubio, Johnny Flynn, and somebody all on the same draft.
Yeah,
I'm like, why you take
and none of them
3-point
got no value from any one of them.
No.
Nothing.
No.
That's not the best draft strategy that you could have. But you'll see what they're doing with that. I think Stauskas would have been better served on another team, though.
That's what it is. Another one in. Ace and Dees, About That Sports Life, where we cover sports life and style. Visit us on the web, aboutthatsportslife.com, or email us at aboutthatsportslife@gmail.com. You can also follow us on IG or Twitter at ABTDATSPRTS Life, hashtag ADSL. And if you would like, lastly, you can friend us on Facebook at Ace and D's in New Jersey. All right, peace.
Down here in the jungle. Down here in the jungle.
bottom with the dirt and the burns me. My garden is a jungle, I'm Tarzan in Jersey. Beating on my chest while I'm storming across the concrete. Adidas on my feet, DMC with a rhyme scheme to eliminate all the fake that I tried to. Test the skills that will happily oblige you. Aggressive in a session, peasant with a message. Destined to lead this belly of this beast with indigestion. Hold up, I'm not your normal, never like to conform you.